another offering from the Stand Up Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to another episode of Nerd Rager. On the podcast today, we have with us Pete Cornacchione.
Hey, what's up?
And Matt Edgar. How you doing, buddy?
I'm Matt Edgar.
He is Matt Edgar, and with us as always, Ari Manis with Stand Up Talk Studios.
Hello, thanks for having me, sir.
Hey, thanks for having us again. And today we're going to be going into a lot about Vine, Instagram. Matt's a big music fan. We're going to go into we're going back to the Netflix as usual. We're going to start it off though, as usual, with the video games. Love the video games. I know PDC, you play a lot of Nintendo. You're actually old school Nintendo.
Yes, currently I've been playing a lot of old school 8-bit Nintendo
On a 50-inch HD TV.
Yeah, on a big TV. You can't play Duck Hunt actually because the flat screens they don't recognize the gun or something.
That is great.
You have to use an old school TV.
What?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
So there's just
cool.
these ducks flying around and nothing you can do
Yeah,
about
you're
it?
just like nothing, ain't nothing happening. I don't know how that shit works, but for some reason.
I remember I learned the trick to that game anyways, was you always would aim your gun to the dead center of the screen and you can shoot and it would kill every duck.
Aw.
So I ended up losing love for that game after that.
Aw.
But it won't work now at all.
I used to go right to the screen and just fucking execution style to the duck.
Point blank range.
You were watching a lot of Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
So what system are you into, Matt?
I'm a PlayStation guy through and through, man.
Okay, so you're
right now
looking-
PS3. You know, I'll always update the whatever the next gen is.
Yeah, you're jacked up for the new PlayStation 4 coming out?
Of course, man. Of course, dude. It looks great. That new Metal Gear Solid. I'm a huge
love
fan
Metal
of the
Gear.
franchise, and I will keep playing that until they stop making them. So that
Yeah, they.
I'm a little bummed out that they recasted it though.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the voice of Solid Snake has always been from this guy David Hayter. He's a screenwriter, and he's just brilliant at it. I mean, he truly is Solid Snake,
And he has that really
he created.
dark voice,
I mean,
yeah.
he created the personality. I feel
So
like.
you're into the storyline.
Oh, yeah.
Not so much just going around and killing everybody. You're like, oh man, it's
And
like
that-
a movie.
Yeah, you know that's like the only game that I play for the cutscenes and I'm invested in the storyline.
You don't X through
Never.
them.
I actually
no,
watch
no.
every
Yeah.
cutscene.
No,
I'm ready to
no.
blast some more fools' heads off, man.
Jesus.
Fuck
That's
that
not what that
theatrics.
game's about, man. It's about tactical, like you're sneaking around and I mean the story's just
Well,
great.
and the story's also it's going back all the way to 84 or 85. The story goes back.
No, the story goes back to the 60s. It goes back to
No, I'm talking
What
about
video
the
game
actual,
were they playing
the
in the
actual
60s?
start of the video game era.
Oh,
The story started with kids in their mind in 84, 85 when the first game came out.
right. Yeah,
And then that's how the story started, and it still goes on to this day. The
Yeah.
story actually keeps storyline involved.
But they recasted it, and David Hayter's not on it. Now the voice of Solid Snake. Do you know who it is? Kiefer Sutherland.
That's kind of weird.
sold
So
out.
it's gonna be like, dude.
Is that just because you don't like Kiefer Sutherland?
I don't mind Kiefer Sutherland. It's just like I love David Hayter, you know. And I don't know, man. I think I speak on behalf of every Metal Gear Solid fan.
I think you would, and not only that, it's that voice is part of the recognizable part of the game.
It's just so him.
It's creepy.
Man. I mean,
it is a creepy voice, and it's like it sounds like somebody who's
I
in
feel like
Spec Ops.
David Hayter kind of built that character. He helped build that character, you know. And to this guy coming in, I don't know. I mean, not taking anything away from.
So did David Hayter get fired, or what happened?
No, I don't. He didn't get fired. They just kind of like. I saw an interview with him. He said something like, you know, he called him up like, hey, so when are we doing this? You know, and like, you know, they never told him he's not doing it. I mean, the way they told him he's not doing it is because he called them and like, hey, when are we going in for like, I don't think we need you.
Yeah,
He's like,
Kiefer showed up.
Are you fucking
Yeah.
serious?
But see, it's Kiefer Sutherland. That's too recognizable of a voice. Like you're gonna have somebody who's recognized. And
Yeah, I mean, I don't care who it is. As if it's not David Hayter, I don't agree.
So
But
is it?
I don't want to be a bitter old man about it. Maybe he's great at it. I mean, I don't know, but like that's just.
So you
weird.
haven't played the game yet? You just
course
heard.
not.
You've heard about it. Okay.
Yeah, the game doesn't come out until November.
Guys, David Hayter's a respected player in show business, by the way, because not only did he do the voice of Solid Snake, he's a great screenwriter. He wrote Watchmen.
Which is I really liked Watchmen. I
yeah.
thought it was really creative for like a comic book movie type.
Oh, it looked beautiful too, man. Like that's a great movie. That and
So you really like watching the cutscenes? Like you really?
Oh, they're great.
Oh, I tell people all the time, if I'm gonna fucking buy a movie, I'll buy a movie. I'm buying a video game, not a DVD.
It's like a movie video game hybrid where you actually get to play in the movie a little bit.
And I understand that. It's just my friends, when we're playing together online, they want to watch the cutscene, and I'm trying to fast forward. It says push start to fast forward. I'm like, push start, motherfuckers. They won't push start. They're like, we got to watch it, bro. It's part of the game.
Dude, I'm so obsessed with that franchise that every time it comes out, I don't really take breaks. I'll play it all the way through. I'm not much of a gamer, you know. I mean, that's probably it.
It doesn't sound like it.
It doesn't
sound like you're lying about.
I'll play Fight Night.
Go-to series, Pete? Like, did you have one that you really love? I know.
Yeah,
Mark,
I'm super into Guitar Hero.
Fuck, Guitar Hero is sweet, bro.
Yeah,
such a great
I
game.
was like 126th in the world or something.
Jesus Christ.
Years ago
Hanging
on
out
my
with Chinese
fucking
kids.
Wii. But yeah, I love playing that shit. My PlayStation 3 just took a shit a couple months ago. So that's why I started playing the old Nintendo.
Did you ever play Through the Fire and Flames on hard or whatever it was?
I mean, a lot of that shit on Expert is just retarded. You gotta be like a 10-year-old kid or something.
I played that shit and I couldn't even get through 2 chords. It was just like fail.
It's insane.
But
yeah,
that's a great series. So you like the Rock Band too, then?
Not as much because the guitar is different.
Okay.
So it sounds super nerdy, but you know the guitar is different.
Well,
so
that's why this is nerd. That's
yeah.
why this is Nerd Rager. So
The fake guitars.
But yeah, when I was back home in Ohio in the wintertime, like I just didn't go anywhere because it's so fucking cold and I hated it. I just sat around all winter playing that.
and that's
shit
the best part
every
about
day.
games.
I loved it.
Yeah, and you played online a lot, right?
Online, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Stupid tournaments.
Oh, man, that's
I'd
fun,
go to the
though.
fucking store when they were releasing the game and play with all the kids and stuff. Total dork.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that. That would be pretty
Yeah.
funny. So yeah. What other games do you guys get into in any other systems? Not just the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo. Any other kind of systems you guys liked? Or I know I had a TurboGrafx growing up, and that was a pretty cool system to have.
I had
know you're into older
you
systems.
know when Sega had that 32X where you could put that in, you could plug it into the card where you put the game. The
Oh,
cartridge,
okay, yeah. I know
And
what
it
you're
would you get 32 bits
Yeah,
rather
yeah,
than the 16-bit Sega. I had that, and I got to enjoy it for a week until it stopped working. And then I took it back to get a new one, and the same thing, it stopped working in a week. So
Good old Sega, and that's why they're not around anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had an Atari 2600.
That'd be pretty
You know,
sweet.
I don't know how old you guys are, but
I'm so old that I had Intellivision.
yeah, I mean,
I think
the
that's
first
what
one
my
my bro
grandpa-
had like the fucking knob
Yeah.
and the buttons and shit. It was so basic.
I love the
But
Intellivision. Yeah,
I love the
What's it called?
2600.
The 2600.
The Atari
2600,
2600 just
Had
had a
those-
joystick and a button.
had that big red joystick.
Yeah.
Oh, that
It'd
thing?
have like River Raid,
Damn, that is...
blasting ships and
That's-
stuff. I
I
love
wasn't
it.
even
Long.
I wasn't
Yeah.
even alive yet.
dude.
Now,
There's so
what
many.
year were you born, Maddie?
85.
I mean, that's not that young, I guess.
Yeah,
I was
it's
born in
not.
'77 though.
My God.
I always feel old.
Old man.
And I was 80. When were you, Ari?
89.
89. Wow.
Fuck.
Jesus Christ, bro.
Yeah.
Born like right before the Gulf War.
People don't realize what it was like growing up.
People
in the
also
80s.
don't equate things to the Gulf War. They're like, oh, it was right before the Gulf War. Well, I guess maybe you do.
Being 10 years old too, that was a big moment in our lives. Like, I was our first war that we ever got to like witness, like, and knowing what something was. I was
You
like,
come from a military family?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because see, like, that's not something that sticks out to me. Like, I don't think about wars, but I guess if you're in a military family, that's something that's like a big part of your life.
I guess so.
People
yeah.
are, going to war or participating. For me, I lived just in the middle of nowhere and didn't really,
No, okay.
I mean, you see it on TV, but it's not something that's like.
Where'd you grow up now?
I grew up in Ohio,
Okay. What part?
near Akron, a little town called Mogador.
My dad's actually from Akron.
It's like my class had 60 people in it, so it's a real small town.
Jeez Christ.
Yeah.
That's a small class.
Yeah,
No black kids.
we had one black kid in our school,
And we got rid of him pretty quickly.
and he was adopted by some white people. And when he was like 16, he got a big Harley Davidson eagle tattooed on his forearm, so he was pretty white.
Jesus Christ.
But
How'd you end up out of there? How'd you end up going to L.A.? I mean, that's a big switch.
well, got in some trouble, went to prison, got out of prison, and my buddies were like, "Hey, there's this place you can go and eat tons of acid and no one will bother you." And I was like, "Oh, I want to go there."
A little
great.
land called Hollywood.
Well, that was this park. I went there and then ended up meeting some people and got a job on the road working for a band. And
Tell him what
one
band.
thing lit Dark Star Orchestra. If you ever heard them, they do Grateful Dead shows.
That's badass, man.
It was cool. I was on the road with them for a little over 3 years. Did some.
That'd be a
And
cool.
you were the
I was the road manager.
yeah.
I
That is
started out being like the gear handler, and then learned all the stuff that was going on the road. And one day they fired the road manager and were looking for someone else. I was like, give me a shot. I'll try
Dude,
it out.
that's a sweet gig.
I mean, it is nonstop work the whole time.
It's
Yeah,
like
but-
you're a babysitter for 12 adults. You got to keep them all in line, make sure they all got money to eat and are at the right place at the right time. And
You're also
bullshit.
spending the day setting up the venue, and you have to get up early to talk to the, like the guy at the venue, and then
Everything.
you coordinate the bus. I mean, there's
Check into
so
the
much that goes into the hotels.
get paid at the end of the night. It's a long.
And so, and that took you all over the country and outside of the country.
They never left the country while I worked for them, but I did go to Amsterdam with them about a year after I stopped working for them. But 'cause we're still all cool and stuff. It's
Yeah,
not like I left
definitely.
on bad terms, but yeah, it was awesome. I got to see pretty much the whole United States except for Alaska and Hawaii.
That's
And,
got to be worth it right there.
Yeah, for 3 years we go through every major city every 6 months.
Dark Star Orchestra doesn't have a following in Hawaii.
Well, I mean, really just at the level we were at, getting the band there, paying them all that stuff. Like, they're doing other shit now. They're playing all over the place in Jamaica and whatever.
Really?
Yeah, they did this big thing in Jamaica. I wanted to go so bad, but
That'd
just didn't work out.
That'd be the most fun to go.
Yeah,
to
they
Jamaica.
played at this
Oh.
resort that was like, when you bought the tickets to the show, it was like an all-inclusive resort for a week. So it was like a place you'd want to go for vacation anyways.
Yeah.
And then they got this kick-ass band playing the whole time. It was like a dream.
Yeah, that'd be
But-
really fun. And where'd you grow up, Matt?
I kind of moved around a lot. I was born in Corona, California, and then let's see, what did I do? My parents got a divorce, so at one point my mom remarried, and then we moved. It's pretty much up and down California coast. I lived up in San Jose for a few years, but I think, I don't know, man. I went to high school in Orange County, so I guess I could say that, this little town right outside of Long Beach, actually. It's at the cusp of L.A. County and Orange County. It's called Los Alamitos.
Okay, I've heard of it, but never been.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah.
So I went there, and I moved out. I moved out up here when I was 21. I mean, it's only
And you had right away. You knew you wanted to do stand-up comedy, and you came out here.
well, when I graduated high school, right away I started taking improv classes at the Groundlings.
Oh, okay.
Just beginner level stuff, and then more classes around town. And I did that for a few years. I started stand-up when I was 21.
And when did you and Pete meet? Probably like 6-7 years ago.
Oh, not that long ago.
Oh, okay,
I've
really?
only been here about 5 years, so
Oh, okay.
that's about when we met.
Yeah. I mean, I met him when I remember when Pete first started coming around. I didn't really talk to him much when he first came around because I wasn't smoking pot back then, and he was.
Oh, that's all I am.
Yeah, at the time.
Right.
I mean, you're in now.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I mean, everyone would go off to the corner or outside and go smoke, and I never ran with those circles. I always respect him. He's always kind,
Yeah.
I think, really, the real friendship started maybe only 2 years ago. Tony was like, Tony Hinchcliffe was like, yo, we should come with me. Let's go to Pete's house. He lives out in Granada Hills. I was like, oh, fuck, all right, I'll come out. And actually, we played Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
They- the full circle there.
And just watch TV. And I think right there it was like, oh, this is a guy that I could actually be a friend with.
I can hang out with this guy.
Yeah,
He's-
like not just kick it, not just be cordial, but like friendship. Like we could talk real shit. It just kind of, how some people you just mesh with. And
Yeah.
He's also he's got that he's a guy that spent a lot of time on the road, man, and I always get along with those kinds of people. 'Cause
Interesting lives.
man, and
Interesting stories. Things
yeah,
like that.
and yeah, they're not so up their ass because they've seen a lot more.
And they also have that little chip on them that you like.
Yeah, man, they know enough shit and they're confident in what they know, and I like that, man. I like that, and it's a good quality because I'm 27 years old. How old are you?
36.
36. I mean, this guy knows a lot more about life than me, and I like associating myself with people like that.
Right on. And
Very, very complimentary. I'm going to retweet this.
The whole
double retweet.
Yeah, everybody.
whole point in saying it.
I love Pete. That's gonna be the name of it right there.
Oh, jeez.
I love Pete Nerd Rager. But one thing about Pete is that I actually do appreciate about him, his Instagram and his Vine. They're two of the funniest out of everybody, and this is major comics, and he's the funniest. Like Instagram, he throws these bombs every day. I said him and Jason Tebow should fight it out. But what got you into, like, you don't just do Instagram and Vine. You like are elaborate with it. You build props. You have just a great time doing it. So I wanted the fans of Nerd Rager to know what you do on that and like how you get into it. What is the idea of when you go up to get your props? What are you saying? I'm going to go write this and then I'm going to make the props.
Well, I mean, it's all kind of silly. I really enjoy doing it. But what I do, I'm stoned hanging out every day, not much to do, so I'll just go to the dollar store and see what the fuck they got. And like if I see something, I think I can do something stupid with it, then I'll take it home and
then just make
set
ideas.
it up.
So you make ideas based off the items that you're buying.
A lot of times. Like, I drove to Oregon this weekend, and on the way up there I saw the YOLO, California exit and the weed rest area. And those are just like opportunities of like, okay, well, I could do a thing where like I pretend I need to pull over and smoke some weed, and then boom, there's the weed rest area. It's got a giant sign. And I thought that was funny. And like the YOLO thing, I pretended to run down the highway naked in front of the YOLO sign. And it's,
Pete's got this eye for that kind of stuff, man.
Oh,
he
definitely.
sees the world in 6-second intervals, basically. When he also hit the Twitter game.
I love his tweets.
Just hard. Yeah, I mean, like, I remember before Vine and all that, before he got involved in Instagram and Vine, he was tweeting all the time. And he was fucking killing it, man. He actually is one of the guys, like, I only started tweeting in the last year. And to kind of figure out how to do it, I'd watch his tweets. I'd learn from how he, because it's about how you see stuff, and then you got to have the editing skill and all. And
right, you have to reword it to the way it's the funniest, and you have to find it in that little bit of
It's kind of funny because I haven't been tweeting or anything much lately, you know what I mean?
It's fine.
But, I just been kind of, doing other stuff, getting some other shit together, but...
You've been doing a lot of Vine.
Twitter was... or is a great thing where you can try to write a joke and it's way too long, and then you have to learn how to cut the fat out.
You actually told me that a year ago.
For stand-up or anything you guys are doing, you always cut the fat out. When you watch pros do it, that's what they're doing. They only say the funny parts.
I was telling this kid at a show the other night. He's like, "How do you get so good at joke writing?" I was like, "Dude, my joke. I'm a shitty joke writer. What really helps is Twitter." Because, I mean, you literally, you're taking a big thought, something that you truly think is funny, and finding a way to condense it to that 140 character mark. And to do that, that's where the joke writer is. I mean, that's where he lives, is in this, how do I make this make sense in so many words?
How do I make this filet look its best?
Yeah, and now, I mean, it's at a point where, like, I'll write a tweet, and I'll just, I throw it out there, and then I see what kind of love it gets, and if it gets enough, it's like I could be like, all right, well, it's something. The essence of this, I can't go up and just rattle this off on stage this way. I got to translate it to the spoken word form of it. But I understand that here, this is actually the essence of it. And if I can hold on to the original thought that came from the tweet, and then I could turn it into a joke on stage. I think everything I'm doing right now started off as a tweet.
It's a great way to toss out ideas, like you said, and you might get feedback from them. People like them or they don't. And I saw, it was a couple months ago, I saw Ari tweet like 4 things during the day, and then that night I saw him on stage and work bits out of those 4 tweets that he had written that day. And it was, it was cool to see someone like Ari, who's super talented.
Oh, yeah.
To just take these 4 small ideas he had during the day, and now at night they're, beginning of a bit.
Mm-hmm. Note to audience: Ari Shafir, not Ari Manis. Sorry,
sorry, you weren't talking about me?
buddy.
Oh, no, I was talking about Ari Manis.
Oh, my bad.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's like today's comedian. That's how the business has changed. Like, we actually get that. You know what I mean? Isn't that cool?
We get feedback.
That, like, yeah, I mean, that's part of the work, because like you got to spend a lot of time writing anyways, and be able to like throw out ideas and see if it's working when you're alone. Even.
And plus, even being on Twitter can give you ideas you never had. Like you can be on there looking at hashtags or whatever and see what's trending, and then you can come up with a joke off something that's trending.
Yeah.
Which is something different too. It's like giving
Yeah, I mean,
it's good. It's good for inspiration. It's just like when we hang out, like now we're in the back room or anything, and we're all just riffing, talking about stuff. You come up with ideas. It's kind of the same thing, but nobody's in the room with you. But,
Yeah, man.
people
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
this, especially like during a big event like the Oscars or the Emmys or shit like that, where like everybody's trying to boom
Right.
rattle off the joke right now because that's the only time it's good.
Yeah.
Like now with Twitter, when there's something happening, the jokes are being written right now. There's no like even by the time it gets to late night talk shows, the jokes have been done.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're
oh,
hearing
yeah.
Jay Leno just say tweets.
Yeah,
up there.
that have been done 50 times already because someone thought of it and 50 other people thought
Yeah,
of it. Because
And
they're
sometimes it's discouraging when shit goes down. Someone would throw out a tweet that's just so powerful, like, "Oh fuck, I ain't gonna." Like when Gandolfini died
I was
the
just
other
about
day.
to say
Yeah.
Dude,
that
somebody,
tweets.
Damien Fahey. Do you know who that is? Is it Fahey or Fahey?
Fahey.
I'm not sure how you
Fahey?
pronounce it.
Dude, well, this guy's fucking brilliant. But anyways, he retweeted someone. And I wish I could give the guy credit, but he retweeted a guy that said right when this happened, he said, "Never forget about it."
No, okay.
And I just thought, God, man, I'm not even going to try to make a joke about this. That's so funny. Never forget about it.
There were some other ones that were decent, but Tony had one, Gone Corleone, which
Nah.
was, that was pretty good. There were some good ones, but some of them I just don't do because I didn't find them like to be disrespectful to people.
I mean, that's just an example of like a topic. You know, that was
Right,
like the
yeah,
most
yeah.
recent thing I
well, yeah,
saw.
that's one of the
Yeah.
things that like once people die, instantly every comic out there is trying to make the funniest death tweet, and it's better to be really funny or it's not going to be. It's just going to be hurtful.
Oh,
or
yeah.
stupid. With Gandolfini, you saw more comics going. That great.
Oh,
actor,
yeah, man.
great
Well,
actor, and like
Well, you see a lot of people doing that
wasn't-
now. People go for the kiss ass first, especially people that are like, have a lot of followers and stuff. They try to, give out the,
good stuff.
oh, this is great.
And
You know,
then
this
just-
guy. And then just try to go for the fucking gut. And a lot of them miss the mark, but
That's
you
the
know.
problem with those is you can miss the mark real easily. Like with a death tweet, you can miss the mark. I think.
yeah, it's like they say rape jokes. Like, it's got to be funny or else you're fucked.
Yeah, and so now what do you?
You know?
Yeah.
It's really got to be funny if you're going to pull it out.
What do you feel about the Instagram getting videos now? 15 seconds over the 6-second Vine.
Well, like I said, I just drove back from Oregon yesterday, so I was driving, and the day before I was in the middle of the woods hanging out. I wasn't.
so
really
you had
online.
you have no clue about it yet.
I
Really.
just caught, a little here and there. I haven't really got to check it out. But
Oh, okay.
I did look at it and see that you can like film segments. You can erase a segment. You can put filters on it, make it black and white. But I have a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like if you want to film long videos, you could just put them on
YouTube or whatever.
anything.
yeah.
I mean, with our phones and iPads and shit like that, you can film quality.
I think
shit.
they did it just because Androids needed a medium to do it on. Like they needed.
Well, they probably started developing it before Vine put out their Android app because Vine's on Android now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
yeah, and
Oh, I
but
should've
it's
gotten
weird. 15 seconds, you put filters on them, and like everybody's already done the video where they're like, do something for 6 seconds and then act like they don't know what to do for 9 seconds. You know what I mean? It's like,
I just don't know. I've never really understood it. I'm getting taped on by a lot of random people in public now on Vine, and it's kind of annoying. Like somebody doesn't even know me coming up and like filming me.
damn, what are you doing? It's acting
Oh,
fool?
that's horrible.
No, I'm
You
drunk.
got a bad
I'm
walk?
drunk. I'm drunk in
Oh.
public.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just drunk walking. I'm stumbling or whatever on my way home, and I see.
Damn, you're
getting
getting
Vined.
Vine.
Yeah, I know. And
What
it's
if
it's annoying?
What if you found out that you were a huge star on Vine?
I'm
but
the
just
drunk
on
and
someone
walk
else's
guy.
account. Like they videoed you and it
Multiple
got like
people's account.
100,000 likes.
That would be good for
Look
them.
at this idiot, 100,000 likes. That's me. I'm that idiot.
That's funny, man. Because I don't Vine. I haven't Vine, but I have the app. And there was a drunk guy that I filmed for 6 seconds somewhere. I didn't do anything with it, but it was like, yeah, drunk people are like, God damn, that's horrible.
Maddie,
Well,
he
I like
filmed a
the-
couple of my Vines,
That's right.
and he was in one. A couple. He's been in a couple.
And this is true. Go to it's at Pete EC, right?
Yeah.
PDC on Vine, and it's the funniest shit.
And if you want, you can hit up this dude in Australia. His name is @Pete. He has like 300 followers and hasn't tweeted for months, and I've offered him cash money for his Twitter account, and he's a dick. And so if anyone wants to assault @Pete,
At Pete, we're getting on that.
PETE, I'd appreciate it. I offered him
like
100.
Merv is having that problem too.
I'm just like, it's not that I'm anybody famous or anything, but it would just be nice to have that name, Pete. I'll just be Pete.
Yeah.
That's it.
Amazing.
If
You
he's
know?
not doing anything,
And he's
with
some
it.
idiot that's just like writes tech reviews. I mean, I shouldn't say he's an idiot. I'm sure he's a perfectly nice guy, but he doesn't like use Twitter for very much of anything.
Right. It's just his
You know,
place
it's not
to
a
kinda-
big tool for him at all. But for me, like, you know, doing podcasts, doing whatever, it's a lot easier to be like, hey, I'm at Pete. You know,
Right, and
people
then-
are like, who's PDC? How do you look that up? Whatever.
I actually like the PDC, to be honest. Like that's what I actually knew you as for forever. I didn't even really.
Yeah, people call me that shit. Like Stan Madonia calls me that, and we're good friends. I mean, but I don't mind that he calls me that. But
PDC.
yeah, a lot of people call me that.
I feel like that's your
name now.
that's
yeah.
the persona.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So if you're listening at Pete Michael Herman, you lost out on that money I offered you because we're sticking with the PDC.
PDC sticking around forever. So
Yeah.
and Matt, you just recently started on Twitter with you're at Matt Edgar, and you started with the Death Squad show you did. Isn't that right? You started like 8 months ago with the Death Squad show.
Death Squad show.
No, he set it up a while ago, but then didn't
I
tweet
set it
for a
up
long
years
time.
ago, and I just kind of sat on it. And what happened actually is I had a really bad night at the Comedy Store. Like, it was probably one of the worst fails that I've had in a long time. And I was like, you know what, I'm kind of burnt out on stand-up right now. I want to take a week off. And I've never done anything like I've never taken a week
Right.
off. And I'm going to take a week off and just kind of let myself regroup and not think about stand-up for a while. And I decided I was going to do that. I was going to stick to it all week, no matter what. I wasn't going to cave and go back in. And I woke up that next morning, and I had to do something. I had to put something out there. I couldn't just sit there for a week. That was driving me crazy. In the morning, I hadn't even got through the day yet.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just like, so I just pulled out my phone. Like, I got this Twitter app. Maybe I should, see what's going on, man. And I just kind of started. I only had too many followers. I only had 200 followers, something like that, because, it was just comedians that I knew and a few road gigs. And I do a few Death Squad podcasts, but I never really promote the Twitter or anything like that,
Right.
So I started tweeting things that I thought only my friends would get, like other comedians and stuff like that. And then, you start getting these retweets, man. It feels pretty good, especially when you're not going up at night, and I'm not getting that thing. I go up and get laughs and make me
Not
feel
getting
good
that
about
reward,
myself.
right.
Yeah, I'm getting it this way. So I kept on kind of working that muscle, and I was doing that for a few days, and then I hit this one tweet that Freddie Lockhart was the first guy to retweet it, and then it just kind of like
That's
I
got to
think
make you feel good.
I got
too.
like about 300 retweets on it, and I got like I got 200 new followers. I was like, God damn, this is what this is about, And
It's addicting.
I was addicted, man. And I can't stop. I actually haven't tweeted in like a week, but that's because my mind's kind of I'm more focused on stand up more than anything right now.
That's a good
But-
thing. And you've been kicking ass lately too. I've been watching you late night, and it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, Twitter, like, and then that's when I realized too, is like, man, some of these things, I could take them on stage. Let me see what happens, because I used to watch guys do that. They'll have a tweet and they'll go say it on stage, and always failed. And I actually would try that in some shows, and they would fail. But then I was like, that's when I started like adjusting it to the spoken word part of it, and then really just getting new jokes out of it. And like, God, this is more. This isn't just bullshit. Like, this is a great tool for comedians.
I didn't even realize I don't like using my tweets on stage, which is weird that you say that. And like, I have so many tweets that I think are personally funny that don't get any.
Well, you don't have to
retweets on
say them.
stage.
Like, I think the most important thing that comedians don't realize when they're taking a tweet to the stage is that what makes a tweet funny is the essence of why it's funny. But what makes it make sense is you're reading it, so you're kind of picturing it while you're reading it. You're comprehending it. But when you're on stage,
You're painting the picture.
yeah. So you actually could expand that idea, and
That's really cool, and like I do like that about Twitter. You can basically read somebody's thoughts, and like when you read certain people, you can actually hear them saying them. Like Mark Ellis is one of the guys. I read his tweets and I can hear him.
Well, that's another weird thing about Twitter is when you do know somebody, a lot of times their tweets will be funnier to you than they would be to the normal person. It's like their voice or their cadence or
Yeah.
how they feel about things. Because a normal person just reading the sentence, will be like, oh, that's not very funny. But if you know Brody's saying it like, yes, blah, blah.
I was just going to say, man, when Brody had
Or like maybe Sebastian would be another good example. Like, you know his voice and his cadence where if you read something that would just sound like somebody complaining about something, but if you read it in Sebastian's cadence and he's
really
complaining,
funny.
it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like when Brody was having that meltdown, talk about having a gun on Twitter. You know, I'd get to, you know, everyone else that doesn't know Brody would be, that's horrifying. This guy is fucking crazy. But everybody that knew Brody was like, fuck, what's he doing, man? Like that, like we couldn't quite take it seriously. You know what I mean? Because you hear that I've got a gun, you know.
Yeah, and I came in after all that, so I didn't know anything about, like, I just watched the enjoy it, and that's what I learned about it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, man,
that was a crazy, that's where, you know, Twitter is taking over certain things when it makes people freak out like that.
Oh man, he was just nonstop. I mean, I remember kind of before that when people were deleting him from their Twitter because there's too much
and feeling bad. And I think actually when Ari Shaffir started following nobody was when Brody was going through this thing, and Ari didn't. It's not that Ari followed hundreds of people, but he followed all of his friends and shit around the store, and he didn't want to make Brody feel bad, like that he unfollowed him, so he just unfollowed everyone. So it's just like he didn't have to explain it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, and it's not just because I don't want to listen to your shit. It's like.
I don't want to hear nobody's shit.
But it was, where he was getting up to tweeting, 500 times a day.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
he would literally tweet every 15 seconds, and you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? And every person that, I mean, this has been talked about on a lot of podcasts. We don't need to get into it. But since you don't know, it's like, every person that would ad reply him, whether they had one follower or 100,000, he would personally interact with them and get offended.
Oh, I mean, that was the meltdown in a nutshell, is that he was going up to everyone, even people on the street, like,
yeah.
Man, one night, the night before he got arrested, we were in the parking lot. I'm leaving the parking lot of the Comedy Store. It's late, man. Lights are off, and as we're walking out, the car just flying in, and Brody's in there, gets out as soon as he gets like, someone get me high, and then and he was not himself. Like, I'm looking at him in his eyes, and he was just not there, and I watched him kick a man in the chest.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that night. Okay.
Like, he Sparta kicked him straight. And I was like, bro, I mean, this is beyond Brody. Brody's a lovable guy.
Oh, yeah, very lovable.
And I mean, that's when I started getting worried.
It's really awesome to see him come through, and now that he has the Festival of Friendship
now he's just killing it.
Oh, he's awesome.
Killing it.
He's just, even when he has his moment now, he takes it out on stage, and it's over with afterwards.
Yeah.
It's great, yeah. So, we're going to move on. We're going to talk a little music now. We basically covered the Instagram, Vine, Twitter thing. So we're going to go on to music now. I know Matt and I were having an argument in the parking lot the other night, and we sat down in his car and I guess hashed it out. He made me listen to the Daft Punk album. I told him I don't like it, and he said basically, here, sit down and listen. I will give you this. It did teach me that they were going to try to be disco, which made me not hate it as much.
Right.
But I still hate it.
Okay, so here's your issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you are holding on to the how you feel about a genre of music.
Right.
You don't like disco.
Hate it, yeah.
Okay. Thing about the Daft Punk album is that if you look, like, I don't listen to disco. Like, I mean, I can't even really list yet who a disco group is.
The Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees. I was gonna say I was gonna call them the Fugees actually. But yeah, I mean, I'm not especially into that genre. I don't hate it as much as you do.
You know what? Okay, if I can chime in.
Sure.
I think it has something to do with him being raised in a military family. It was either his dad was really strict and like, nah, Dad, you can't go to the discotheque. Or his dad met his mom in a military base at the discotheque. I go, what's it have to do? Why do you hate disco so much? Because I don't particularly like it either. But how can you not kind of get into some disco? It's like
that's kind of what it is. It's that I'm into rock and roll. My favorite kind of music is rock and roll and Outkast, any kind of Outkast rap wise, like some southern like that. But the disco always has that upbeat boingy boing boing boing.
It's happy and fun.
Well, I mean, whatever reason you don't like disco is irrelevant. What I'm saying is with Daft Punk. The point is,
it's very talented.
I'm trying to get deep.
The point is to listen to it openly. It's not about it being a disco album. It's listen to the music around the disco thing. because they're combining different genres and different eras of music.
His voice is awesome. And I'll say that. I like his voice.
And I think that is just. I just think it's like, especially right now with how popular dubstep is and like kind of electronica is gotten way more popular. This is like, disco is like the '60s electron, like where we're at now in the dubstep world, that kind of like you go out and dance type thing. That's what disco was. And now we're taking, Daft Punk is such a electronica type band, and now they're doing today's dance party music with the '60s and combining it, and it also has like this '80s twang to it, man. I mean, it's like all across the board just good. I can understand if you don't like the genre, it'd be harder to get into, but just the way he composed, I mean, it's composed so well.
I have to say that, like, I'm not into a lot of new music, like, at all, Like, I'm a classic rock dude. I'm really into the Grateful Dead, stuff like that. But, like, my girl was listening to the Daft Punk in the other room, and I'm like, I was getting into it. I think it's pretty good.
I mean,
I like it.
I've heard that from everybody. So I'm
You know
I'm
what
going to tell you this, too, man. I would not be surprised if it wins the Grammy. Sure, actually.
I think that
too much buzz already.
Musicians have figured out a way, like there's some kind of sequence of notes or like tones that just make you feel good.
Right.
And like they'll just write a song that makes no sense, but however the melody goes, it makes you feel good, and that's why they're all popular.
They have a good hook and a good melody.
Because sometimes you listen to it, you're like, why the fuck do I like this shit?
Yeah, and that's when I'm listening to
fucking like it.
When I'm up all night to get lucky, I'm like,
yeah.
what?
They kept playing that on my ride home yesterday. I was like, yeah, woo.
I keep.
I wanted to play the
it.
track again, but it was on the radio.
And that's the thing is, I don't like it, but when it's on the radio and I don't even notice it's on, I'll be like, I'm up all night.
Yep.
I'll be singing.
Yeah,
like,
deep inside, you're into it.
It's catchy. No, it's catchy.
You just want to say it.
I just don't like
it.
Yeah, you just want to hate on it because you're stuck. You're stuck
I hate
in
the
the
disco. I hate the disco tech music. I hate that. I hate techno. I hate also dubstep.
Yeah, you shouldn't hate anything, man.
Well, not hate. I dislike it. I don't like.
No, I disagree with that. You should hate some stuff.
Yeah, but you got to be. What I'm saying, the point with
Hitler.
Daft Punk is to be open, just open, listen. But whatever, dude.
They
If
have
you're
a
stuck in your
message?
ways, it's all good. No,
Oh, I thought you said the whole point of them is to be
to openly listen to this. This
Ari
is
Manis?
good music.
What was your thoughts on Daft Punk, buddy?
As far as electronic music, I like them, but overall, I'm not a giant
Huge
fan of
fan.
electronic.
Me neither.
dubstep.
But I'm
Yeah.
saying I'm not like the genre. I'm not hung up on genres. I like, dude. I'm a
Right.
rock guy too, man.
No,
I like.
know. We're
But
listening
yeah,
to
I like
Modest
Daft
Mouse.
Punk.
the other
Modest
night.
Mouse is my
Modest Mouse
favorite
is
band,
awesome, bro.
and
Modest Mouse dope.
and that's
Yeah,
nothing
dope.
like Daft Punk.
Not at all.
But I'm saying
No.
like outside of that, I mean Daft Punk is just. I mean that's just good music.
They're
So you
old
think
school, they
they're
got
going to
Tron.
stick around? Daft Punk is going to be around.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
I
definitely.
think
they
every.
will, too,
I
yeah.
think they're the kind of group that every 6 years they're going to make you wait for it too. Because I mean, even with their contract, I read something the other day. It's like they're not about. They don't have one of those like superstar contracts where we need 3 albums in this amount of time, and it's all by Sony or whatever. I don't even know who their label is, but they're actually not getting paid that much. But they're allowed to do whatever they want, and they could. Work at the pace that they want, and to me, that's where great music comes from. They're not being rushed to push out content.
Don't
They're-
force the albums out.
Not at all, man. They're just letting it flow. This guy, they took the time to collaborate with all these people. They knew what they wanted to go for. The last.
And the one
album-
thing I know about Daft Punk is they will always adapt to the society.
Mm-hmm.
They will always adapt to what society wants. What people want to hear, they'll be able to adapt to it. Obviously, they're doing it now. I just don't particularly like it, but I think they will outlast everybody. Like they'll be one of the bands that outlast them. They won't be like Mumford and Son will be there, but like these other ones, the Lumineers, and they'll
Yeah,
be
that's their
gone.
song. They said they'll be there.
But
yeah, they're telling you.
That's
the
how,
Lumineers and bands like that, I think they'll be gone in a year. I don't think they'll be around that long.
Or they'll wait for you. That's what it is.
I'll wait for you. I'll wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But what other kind of music do you guys get into? I know, well, Pete, you're saying the Grateful Dead. That was your kind of music. Do you have any bands that you want to tell people to go out and check out, like new bands other than?
Shit, like I said, I don't like a lot of new bands, but like I could tell you some cool shit to listen to.
Okay, yeah.
Like there's a guy named Keller Williams. If you've never heard of him, he's awesome. Solo dude that loops stuff, and he plays like as many instruments as he wants and loops them. Super talented.
And he goes on YouTube and does this, so you can watch.
No,
him
you can
do
go
it?
see him live.
Okay.
Or you can pay him a shit ton of money to come play at your place.
Just trust Pete
Keller
and go
Williams.
to
Keller
the show
Williams.
if he comes to town.
If Keller Williams is around, you should check him out. It's really good.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that I like that, I don't know. There's a band called Wookie Foot.
Wookie Foot.
Yeah, Wookie Foot. Go online and check them out.
Like Star
They're
Wars
fucking
Wookie?
awesome. You're hardly ever gonna hear them play because they play a few shows and they take all their money and go to Africa or Brazil or something and drill wells for people. Like
That's
they're
fucking crazy.
super
awesome.
cool hippies that do all this cool stuff. They're not into getting rich. They take all their money and help other people, and they're a really awesome band.
Then definitely go check out Wookie Foot.
Yeah,
That's cool.
You'll
That's really
probably
cool.
never see them coming through your area because they don't tour much because they're always busy
Helping.
saving the world and shit. But
Philanthropists.
yeah,
Gotta love
they're
it.
really a cool group of people to hang out with, and they like to party. They're a lot of fun.
I'm gonna go read about them when I go home because
Yeah, they have a festival every year in Minnesota, I believe. I'm trying to think of the name of it. But anyways, if you look up Wookie Foot, go to their festival. It'll be a weekend you'll never forget.
Oh, down.
Like
yeah.
they have a crazy tent. They have a surgeon's table. They'll put you on it and, pretend to pull electronics out of the back of your head and stuff. It's a wild ride.
Fuck yeah, man. And Matt, do you have any bands that you want to tell people about? Other?
Well, like you said, for some reason, you know what? I fall into this thing where I'll hear, I'll get to a band. For some reason, I have like this delay of a few years where a band would come out, and a few years later, I'll become obsessed. And right now, I'm going through this Modest Mouse thing where everything that this guy has put out, man, I cannot get enough of it. And I don't know, man. It's like I just love it's so original. It's so just different, but yet he follows I don't know, man. Lyrically, he's a genius. Musically, he's a genius. It's just great fucking music, and it's also there's like an element of fun to it. You know what I mean? Like
So you're a big fan of Wilco then too?
You know what, dude? The Teeb got me into Wilco.
Wilco's amazing.
Crazy story, man. When I was on the road with Guster, I've only been listening to Wilco for. That's another one. It slipped through the cracks when it came out, and I'm just kind of catching up. A year ago, I was on the road with the band Guster, and the first show with them, we were in Chicago at the Vic Theater, and Jeff Garland was also on the show. And he's friends with Jeff Tweedy, the front man of Wilco. Mm-hmm. And he had told me earlier in the day, my buddy Jeff's coming in to see the show. And I didn't know who Jeff Tweedy was or who Wilco was. I've heard of him, but I never really appreciated how great this guy was. And he came in, and to me, it was a guy. He brought his family. He had his two sons and his wife. And seems like a nice guy. I met him, and then Guster, this band that I grew up listening to Guster when I was in high school, and I'm excited to be on this tour with them and watch him perform and everything. I'm stoked to be there.
Yeah.
So I'm looking up to Guster, and then as soon as Jeff walked into the room, the guys from Guster bowed down. I had never seen anything like it, man. They dude, everyone was going, "Oh man, you're such inspiration." I mean, and this guy, Guster just sold out this theater. Jeff Tweedy's in Guster's house right now, and they just cannot believe it. And there's this guy in Guster. His name's Luke. He basically just plays everything for he fills in a bunch of stuff for the guys. And he when he went up to introduce himself, he had this weird nervous twitch on his face, because he was so scared to meet him. His eyebrow could not stop and he was freaking out because he looked like he was malfunctioning in front of the guy. It was just, I've never seen a grown man crumble that way because of some guy.
Embolism as he meets the guy.
Yeah, I mean, but these are musicians that look up to this great god musician.
Yeah, it's like if George Carlin was still alive and he was to walk into the
How we
room,
would freak out.
How we would all freak out. Or
So right there, I was like, that was like a flag. Oh, who is this fucking guy? Who's this powerful entity that these guys are creaming over? And then when I got off the tour, my friend Stephanie Simbari was like, you gotta tell Teeb that you met Jeff Tweedy. He'll freak out.
Oh yeah.
So the way I even did it, because I at this point don't understand who. I haven't really listened to Wilco yet. I was like, oh, hey, Teeb. I was told to tell you about this guy I got to kick it with for a little bit. His name is Jeff Tweedy. And then Teeb just freaks out what? You got to hang with... You don't even know who Wilco... I mean, there was excitement, anger. And he's like, dude, you got to listen. And he gave me the album to listen to, Yankee Hotel Foxtrot. And right there, I was like, oh, shit. I cannot believe this slipped through, man. And I mean, that band is that band is just like so another kind of like Modest Mouse, like so different, you know, like really going for an original sound and wasn't willing to bend for anyone. And I love that shit, man. I love when people are like, "Fuck you, man. I'm doing what I'm doing."
Did you check out their thing on Netflix, the Wilco video?
I'm trying to break your heart.
No, it's the is that what it is?
Ashes of the American Flag.
It's not a video.
They have
It's not a video.
documentaries.
Yeah, it's a documentary.
Yeah.
It's the one with the album that they did in Chicago.
Yeah, you know what? I can't find that anywhere, man. It's killing me. I keep on watching the trailer for it just because I'm so excited to watch it.
I think they might have taken it off Instant Queue, but they'll put it back on eventually. It's
not on right now, man. I mean, I've even looked all over the internet to find. They really don't have that much on it. All I find is like there's a clip of the intro of it, and then there's the trailer. And I've watched both those, and that's all there is on. I've watched both of those at least 8 times, just trying to get a feel. I'm so excited. It gives me the chills.
Documentaries, yeah.
Because there's like a part in it like where he talks about like just like, you know, this is to compromise my music is compromising a big part of my soul or something like that. And it's like, wow. And I've heard the album, so I love the album. I can't wait to see what it came. I guess the labels dropped him, and so like he went through a real roller coaster just putting out the album. So I don't know. I haven't watched it, but it's killing me that I haven't. I can't wait to watch it. I love Wilco.
Yeah, great band. And so we're gonna move on now. We're gonna go on to the Netflix conversation.
He just mentioned Netflix. I thought that was
a good
segue right into it.
Good segue right into the Netflix. We're gonna talk about movies that we were gonna go see too. I will talk some movies too. If you guys have seen This Is the End, I actually want to go see that. I don't know if you guys.
Oh, I have not.
I haven't.
Oh well, then we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
No.
Definitely got to make an appointment, and we'll let you know on the next Nerd Rage or what's going on with that one. Any movies that you're looking forward to or that you've seen recently that were really good, guys?
Well, I just saw Superman, Man of Steel.
And give us a little something on that one, because I don't like I never have liked Superman.
Yeah, well, you're such a fucking hater, dude. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like, Superman hasn't always been someone that I've seen eye to eye with either, because my big problem has always been too powerful. You know, I need my superheroes to be vulnerable.
Right.
But this one's good, man, because like it's literally they explain it like, you know, this is an alien trying to fit in, you know, and I liked it, man. I enjoyed Superman.
So it's about a Mexican.
It's about an illegal alien coming in, just trying to get his papers.
Superman.
Superman.
That's great.
But yeah, it's good, man. I appreciate it.
So it was good overall.
Yeah, man. General Zod was fucking badass.
It's
dude.
worth
the
it.
bad guys were awesome in this.
It's worth the $65 to go to the movies to go see it.
Yeah.
Pete, you seen anything recently?
I rarely go to the movies. But what the fuck did I go see recently? I went and saw I'm trying to think what it was. I saw something good recently.
I don't
But
even know it.
I remember what I saw that was awful, and that was Burt Wonderstone. I went there, and Jess and I were literally the only people in the whole fucking theater. And in the middle of the thing, I filmed a video of me just throwing my cup at the screen because there was literally nobody
That is
there.
so great. So you had a Vine of you getting mad at Burt Wonderstone.
Yeah, I didn't post it, but I filmed it and posted it on my
Jim
YouTube.
Carrey, man. I mean, that guy. That guy's a powerhouse, but you know, times they are a changing.
Yeah,
I'm excited. You know, here's what I'm excited for: Kick-Ass 2.
Oh yeah, that was a.
And
Kick-Ass
Jim
one
Carrey
was
looks
awesome,
fucking
yeah.
bad. See, that's the thing, man. Like in the early 90s, dude, Jim Carrey ruled the world of comedy. I mean, he was the first comedian to break the $20 million movie status, where you got to pay him at a minimum $20 million. And he was so poor. I mean, great story for comedy. Like, the guy is. I mean, I love Jim Carrey, but you know, it's at the point now where it's like, you know, we got Judd Apatow, Todd Phillips, like these guys are making new comedy stars. Yeah, you know what I mean? And Jim Carrey's an older guy, you know what I mean? Like, kind of maybe the slapstick thing, like, you know, Jim Carrey is kind of like Daft Punk in that in the 90s he brought back slapstick comedy with a cool modern twang to it.
He was our Steve Martin.
Yeah, I mean, he just really like kind of took over that world with, you know, he's pulling from old genres and he's new and creative. You know, I mean, he really took over. He was on the frontier of that in the 90s. And now it's like, I think for comedians, you got to get to a point where, you know, you got to know your role, you know? And I think with Kick-Ass 2, the character he's playing in that.
Is he playing a bad guy?
He's playing a good guy. He's playing like an action star, but he's not the star of the movie, and that's the point I'm making, is that like he's taken a funny, cool part in this movie, and maybe that's where Jim Carrey should go. I mean, like, to be the leading guy that's always, you know, big and animated. I'm not saying he should never do that again, but I should start
over probably.
Maybe, you know, Dumb and Dumber 2 just got picked up by Universal, so I think that would be the last hurrah. I don't know, but I like where Jim Carrey is going with Kick-Ass 2. That movie looks fucking awesome. If you haven't seen the trailer,
yeah, I mean, and he really didn't. The thing is even in his times falling off, when people say that. There was movies that really blew your mind about him, like Eternal Sunshine of the or Spotless, whatever the
yeah,
movie
man.
was. That movie was so good, and it was
So
nothing
good.
funny at all. It was just
nah, man. But Jim Carrey's just great through and through. So he'll be great in a thing like that where he's toned down, because he's also a dark dude. And dude, I got the love because he's a Comedy Store guy, you know, and like I feel like I've walked the same halls as him, and
Probably
dude,
jerked
and
off in
also
the
you know
same
what
chair.
you know what people don't understand about Jim Carrey, like it goes unsung, and it's sad because you see Jim Carrey and he has a great movie career, you know, and he's a legend in as far as movies go, but dude, the guy was a hard ass comedian, man, working his fucking ass off, and he got to the point he was such a good impressionist that he'd go up and just destroy. And one day he realized that that's not stand-up comedy, so he went cold turkey on impressions, and that's hard, dude. He had to restart and reinvent himself as a comedian. He didn't give up, dude. He mastered it, and he actually has this comedy special, A Natural Act, that went to Showtime. I think this came out in '92. If you get a chance, it's on YouTube, man. It's like it's a young Jim Carrey, and he's it's after the impressions. It's after he remastered stand-up comedy, and it's still funny to me. You know what I mean? I think it would be funny to anyone.
No,
Like,
I
because
think
I judge stand-up hard, man. It's hard because I know it too well. So I'm telling you, it's fucking great, and his journey is one to take note of.
I think every comic in LA or anywhere should listen to his story and how he would visualize what he wanted. That was a big
Oh yeah,
thing
power
for
of intention, man.
Right.
He'll tell you, like, he just knew what he wanted, and he went for it, and he got it, man.
There's a lot of cool stories about that place and those people that have we've lived in their shoes now or whatever.
Yeah,
We've lived
comedy
in their
folklore, dude. There's a lot of it, you know, like the Wrath of Sam Kinison. Like this guy was a maniac, a former preacher.
Didn't he shoot a gun off in the?
There's bullet holes in that building.
Yeah,
There's a hole in the back of the belly room sign.
Yeah, still there.
That's
I
where-
love that.
I think that's where they watched Louis C.K. from.
Wow.
Yeah. So what other movies are we gonna be talking about today? You guys on the Netflix? At all?
Searching for Sugar Man.
Searching for Sugar Man.
That's pretty good.
What was that about?
You want to take it away, Pete? Have you seen it?
You can go ahead on that
All right.
one. I got a couple I wanted to mention. I
All
didn't
right.
see that. But
This is so there's this. So in the late 60s, early 70s, there's this musician, Rodriguez, right? Detroit guy, blue-collar guy, and he's a folk singer. Signs to a pretty good label and releases 2 albums that just don't sell at all. And at this time, Bob Dylan is the folk master here.
Right.
Like no one's listening.
So this is the 40s, 50s.
No, this is like 60s, 70s. This is like
Oh,
this is
60s,
also
70s.
kind of it's an off time for this genre. I don't know, for whatever reason it slips through the cracks in America, goes nowhere.
Right.
The guy goes back to he's a demolitions guy, construction. So he goes and just rips around, and he lives in the slums of Detroit, and he just goes back to that life. Well, somewhere in the decades to come, somehow a bootleg copy of both of his albums make their way to South Africa and just explode. And he becomes just the biggest rock star of South Africa. But a lot of it is the mystique of this guy because they don't know him. You know, they don't know. The legend has it is one night he's performing, he kills himself on stage. All right? And that's all they know of the guy.
that's what people think.
That's what people think. So, but he's as big as Elvis. He's as big as they come in South Africa,
yeah.
and he has no idea.
Sold millions of records,
Not making a dime.
and he's up here like working in fucking factories and
Has
stuff.
no
this is a-
idea
and
this
this
is
is a true
happening.
story,
True
right?
It's a true story.
That's great. I
And
gotta watch
and where it starts off is they go searching for him. You know, finally people are like, you know, why don't we know anything about this guy? Like, this is one of our biggest rock stars
And he's
ever.
still alive.
They think he's dead, and they find out that he's still alive.
That is so
you know?
great.
So there's both ends of it. There's there's the people in South Africa that are like, oh my God, Elvis came back from the dead. And then there's this guy like, wait, I'm a superstar in Africa. And
I'm broke as fuck.
And I'm broke as fuck. But that's the thing.
was
The
cool
guy,
about that
the
part.
guy is so humble, and it's not about that. You know, there's even just to give you a quick thing. There's a part where like, you know, your life is some guy's interviewing him like, you know, your life would have been so much better had you known. You know, how do you feel about that? He's like, well, I don't know if it would have been better. It would have been different. You know, he's just that kind of blue collar guy. You know, he don't care about the money.
And it's great just to have your art appreciated.
Absolutely, and the great thing is, so they sell out these arena gigs. He's like, you got to come to South Africa and perform. He's like, okay, you know, and he sells out these fucking. It's true, you know, because he's flying
great,
to Africa.
man.
Like, is this happening? And people in Africa are like, is Rodriguez really coming here?
Searching for Sugarman?
Searching for
Sugarman.
Sugarman's
Yeah,
Sugarman.
I
a
watched that
song.
today.
Oh, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
It won the
that's- I'm
Academy
definitely
Award
watching
last
that
year.
tonight.
Wow.
It's Academy Award. It won
It's on
the,
Netflix?
I don't think it's on Netflix,
Oh,
but
I'll still get it, yeah.
yeah, I actually
No,
saw it on.
I saw it on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Done.
Oh, good.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I think I saw
Nailed
it
it.
on Showtime. I don't know, man. I saw it on one of the premium
That
channels.
shit sounds badass, man. That sounds like a really
Baller.
Oh, it's so good, man. I mean, you'll cry, dude. I had to take a nap after because I
I cried
cried.
during
I
Fried
don't
Green
know about that
Tomatoes, so
part.
I'll cry during anything.
Me too, man. If I'm into it, I love it. I love crying at movies.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm with it.
It's the only place where I
watch
cry.
I watch a chick flick. What other movies do you have for us other than Searching for Sugar Man?
Oh, dude. Okay, so on Netflix right now, they have every single pro wrestling documentary that there is, pretty much. And I don't know if you're a fan or not, but I'll tell you this: the Stone Cold documentary. It's called The Bottom Line.
I've seen it.
All right, man. Look, it's just a great story of a guy that worked his fucking ass off and always got held down until his anger. He found a way to channel his rage and turn it into something creative. And you watch this thing and you see this guy slowly becoming Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know, he starts off as a stunning Steve.
Yeah, he used to be a
Williams.
pretty boy.
He was a pretty boy. He was this face guy and got no airtime, got no real respect. He had long blonde hair. He just didn't put it. And you see him becoming Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, you see the hairline kind of going back, you know, and then the goatee kind of starting to come in, and he becomes Stone Cold. And it's just it's such a great origin story. And especially if you're, I mean, as a comedian, I really appreciate it because it's about finding your voice. You know
And
what
the
I mean?
truth is, wrestlers in general, they were in a way, they were kind of stand-up comedians. The way they did things.
Dude, they have to find. You have to. First of all, you got to be good at the art. You know, with wrestling, you got to learn how to wrestle in the ring. Comedy, you got to learn how to tell a joke.
Right.
You know, but you know, you could be the greatest ring technician or the best stand-up comedian. But if you don't have the persona to go with, and by persona I mean it's an extension of you. You know, you got to perform it, and that's those two things they're very similar, man. And that's why we get along with them so well. That's why you know you always. I mean, I've met so many of these guys just through doing stand up because they come out and they love it, you know, and.
Iron Sheik.
So
they're-
the
The road, like we're all on the road, you know. Like, I mean, there's definitely a link between those two professions, and I don't know, man. I love Stone Cold's story, and also I gotta say, I listened to his podcast for the first time. Stone Cold has the Steve Austin Show, and it is so fucking hilarious. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a fan. I'm saying it. Even if you don't know who Stone Cold is, take this Texan, just a man's man, blue collar guy, just talking shit about how he feels about he lives being in LA or being anywhere. He'll just talk shit as Stone Cold. It's just fucking awesome.
And that's on iTunes. That's Stone Cold Steve Austin. What is it? What's the name of it?
The Steve Austin Show.
The Steve Austin Show.
Yeah, I'm not sure where it's at. I mean,
It's going to be on iTunes.
It's
yeah.
got to be on. All right,
It's
yeah.
going to be.
I watched it on the website of the podcast, but yeah, I'm sure it's on iTunes. And
It wouldn't be smart if it wasn't on
he
iTunes. I mean, it's-
he interviewed the one I listened to. He interviewed Kurt Angle, and it was just awesome because Kurt Angle is such a
colorful person.
well, he's such a great athlete. You know, he's telling you how this guy was beating Olympians when he was in high school. You know. And he went to the Olympics. He won the gold medal, but he went into the Olympics with a broken neck, and he fucking won.
And just beast.
So, I mean, great stories. And
Yeah.
and it's Stone Cold. He's a nice guy, and he's funny, and he's all those things. And I'd recommend it.
So definitely check out the And all my redneck friends in Tampa love you now. But check out all the WWE stuff on Netflix. And now we're going to go with Pete. Pete, what's some of the movies that you're going to bring up?
One of my favorite documentaries is Man on Wire.
Oh yeah.
Man on Wire.
Man on Wire is incredible.
And it's about a French guy, Jean-Philippe something or other, and he was a tightrope walker, and he planned out this whole thing while the Twin Towers were being built. Him and his crew flew over here, snuck into the World Trade Centers, some of them in each of the buildings, climbed to the top in the middle of the night, ran a wire between the two buildings, and he tightrope walked between the top of the World Trade Center. I mean, it's an intense story. I don't want to give it all away, but the dude is just an awesome dude, and it's a great story about how, like, he knew what he wanted to do. He didn't give a fuck. He just went and did it. He's like...
He had a vision.
Yeah, it's like he saw in the newspaper the World Trade Centers, and he said he took a pen out and just drew a line between them. And, like, from then on, like, his whole dream was just to make it happen.
And the best part about it is not only the actual tightrope, like when he gets to that. I mean, the whole movie is him getting to that point, right? And that is just breathtaking because it really fucking happening. You know,
and
he's up there for 40 minutes. It's
because,
a heist.
You know, he's got to like break into the World Trade Center and like sneak around the guard.
I mean, there's parts where he's hiding in boxes like a cardboard, like Solid Snake trying to sneak in.
Yeah, before he did the tightrope walking, he was like hiding under a tarp for hours.
With security's walking around, you know. I mean, this is elaborate.
It's crazy. And then I'd be exhausted after all that, and then he's got a tightrope walk back and forth.
And then the weather's got to be right too.
Everything, all the conditions.
You had to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, so
you know what's great is how they got the.
Yeah.
He had to shoot an arrow of the rope to the other side of the building. I mean, this is just it's as elaborate as it's a heist. It's a heist movie.
Yeah. And it's awesome. And like all his friends, like how supportive they were of him. Even though he's crazy as shit, and the complimentary stuff they say about him as a person it's really amazing.
And there are tears to be had, my friend.
Is this the same guy who is going to be crossing the Grand Canyon?
No, that's a young dude. But I'm interested in seeing that.
That I am too. I think he's going to fall.
Another one I saw that I won't get into too much is Make Believe. It's about a bunch of young magicians, and like they're in a national competition, and they're all like, you know, under 16 or whatever, and it's amazing to see these kids that are just brilliant magicians. Whoa. You know, they perform at the Magic Castle and shit. It's intense.
Not the Magic Asshole.
No,
Arrested Development
Castle. Yeah. And another one is called Kumari, and it's about this.
I've seen that actually.
Yeah, it's about a guy who like pretends to be a guru and gets all these people to follow him, and it's just like it's a documentary how like if you just like whatever sound cool and look cool, you can get people to believe whatever. And he did have a cool message. He didn't like trick people, but it's just an awesome movie. How this dude's just like Maddie. If you grew out a beard, started wearing a robe, going around talking all positive, people start following you. Guru Maddie.
That's what I gotta do.
What's weird about the Kumari one? It's like a parody of Borat. It's like because a parody of Borat would not be funny. It'd be like really.
No, but this is like real life.
Borat
shit.
is a parody.
Right.
It's real life. Like this dude went around the country and got people to believe in his cause. You know what I mean?
What that reminds me of? Hollywood Jesus, Kevin.
Yeah.
You know, because
people believe in that guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, he walks the streets and he looks like Jesus, and people. To me, I've always liked to pretend that really is Jesus. You know, because in my mind, it's like I got a friendship with Jesus Christ here. I mean, I'm a lonely, bored guy most of the time. And, like, one thing is sometimes I'm doing comedy late at night. I could be bombing in front of 8 people or wherever I'm at, whatever's going on. And then Kevin would walk in full Jesus attire. The whole room would look back and be like, yep, yeah, Jesus comes to my shit, you know?
Yeah, it's so weird, too.
And he's kind of famous, man. I mean,
people all over the world, I mean, the country for sure, have him, like, in their Facebook profile picture. Like, you pose with Jesus for a picture, like... How crazy is that?
Aerosmith wrote a song about it called Street Jesus.
Yep.
Dude, like the one night Snoop Dogg pulled up and he's filming his TV show, he's in front of the House of Blues and he just calls Jesus over to his car.
Oh man.
You know, he's fucking Jesus.
And not to mention all the great massages.
Yeah, he does. He gives massages.
He gives you massages, and he's got those carpenter hands.
He was just down in Brazil next to that, you know, big Jesus statue that does that shit. In Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
And it's like he didn't get that opportunity because he got that because he fucking Jesus.
Yeah.
Right.
Music videos.
He's
like,
the
all
closest
kind of
looking
shit.
to Jesus there is.
I always run into him on the street too, like just walking around, and I always feel so cool, man, because we'll be on the street corner and I'm just talking, and cars are driving by, and it's like like I'm the guy kicking it with Jesus. You know, it's like you're hanging with a celebrity. You're in. You know, or I look fucking crazy to even be talking to this guy.
Yeah,
it's like I'm part of the insanity.
It's definitely both. But he even says that he doesn't like people. He doesn't like wearing it all the time because people do harass.
Well, he
him.
just took like the 2-month break.
Yeah, he took a break,
and he said he loved it.
He'd show up like all this, like in a coat, being all
It was
dark.
weird seeing him in
He'd be
shorts
like,
and
hey.
shit.
Yeah.
He's definitely creepier outside of the outfit.
Yeah.
So, what other movies, Pete? Kamari?
He's not creepy, by the way.
No. Kevin is awesome. He's an
Oh,
awesome
yeah, not
dude.
creepy at all.
Kind-hearted, just...
I said he looked creepy without the outfit on.
Yeah,
Because
just because we know him as Jesus.
Yeah, we know
It's
him as
weird.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He's Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin Lee Light.
That's so weird. But yeah, it'd be nice to know how many people have him in their Facebook profile picture. Like if we could somehow get a tally on that. If you're listening to this, please call us and let us know.
let
put
Ari
out
know
a
on
poll.
Stand Up Talk.
Right.
So, yeah, and I think it would be kind of cool to see them do, and I think they're already talking about doing that, but a movie with, like a movie about him, or a reality show. I heard people talking about that.
I think a documentary might be better than a reality show.
A documentary would
because,
be cool.
I mean, what are you going to do in a reality show? Watch them water the flowers and talk to the
Have people take
hummingbirds and
Facebook
stuff.
pictures of him all the time. And,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
He
But
can't even
I
walk
think a
down the street
documentary would fucking rock.
Yeah,
because
that'd
you
be
know,
cool.
tell a story, get in and out. He doesn't have to try to come up with some bullshit to do because then it would just be getting scripted. And after weeks and weeks, I mean, you can only follow someone around unless they're doing, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll end up being like kind of like Duck Dynasty, where it's a scripted life, where it's not like a real thing going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something that's on Netflix right now. It's about this people on Skid Row. I think it's called
I
Skid Row.
checked that out.
It's fucking good. It's like really good. It shows you that how the Reagan era basically screwed over all these mentally challenged people. Not mentally challenged. What is it? What would you say it's called? Like they were in insane asylums, and they shut them all down. And basically, these people just got pushed to the street because they couldn't put them in jail. They didn't do anything wrong.
Dude, I just opened my Netflix app to see the shit that I had watched, and this documentary is so good. I mean, something that I personally really enjoyed. It's called Pulling John, and it's about an arm wrestling champion. Okay, and this dude was like, he's not a real big dude, but he was the arm wrestling champ of the world for like 22 years, and like everyone wants to beat him, and it follows like these 3 or 4 different dudes that are going to this tournament with him, and it's just, I arm wrestled a little bit when I was younger, and I don't know, I just really loved it.
One of the great movies when we were younger too was the Sly Stallone film. What was it?
Over the Top.
Over the Top. That was one of the great movies.
I always wanted to rig that machine in my Corolla.
Pulling John is
Pulling
so,
Pulling.
yeah, Pulling John. That's what
Pulling
they call
John.
the dude. And like, there's people. It's just cool to see. There's dudes that like their lives are dedicated to arm wrestling. Like this dude is just fucking, you know.
And yeah, that's their thing, and they get paid.
Or like
and
at least
shit.
some of the guys that are trying to beat him. You know, like the one kid's just from West Virginia, middle of nowhere, big, you know, country boy. I don't know. You watch it. I loved it.
No,
Are
I
there
definitely
divisions in arm wrestling? Like
When I did it,
anyone-
there was just like 180 and under and 180 and over.
Oh yeah.
But, you know, I'm sure they have like a few divisions, but, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and I always wondered, and I never watched the actual real professional arm wrestling thing. Do they have the poles where they can hold on to the poles?
Yeah, they got a
and, like,
pull stick and a pad that your hands got to get down to the pad, you know, because
They got a referee that stands
the
there.
referee calls it all, watches your elbows. Your elbow can't come off the pad.
Do
all
they
kind of shit.
Do they do more than one match at a time, or just one match at a time?
Well, it depends. If it's a big tournament, they'll have a couple on the stage
Okay.
at the same time, you know.
Okay.
But it's pretty intense, man.
No, I mean,
and also what was cool about this dude is that he would arm wrestle also in like the weight class above his. He was just dominant, just a killer arm wrestler at like, you know, 190 or 200 or whatever he weighed. But he's getting people in there that are fucking 250, 300 pounds that he's just killing them.
yeah, he's the LeBron of arm wrestling.
It was so good.
Just he
For
understands
20
it, he
some
gets it.
years, how crazy is that? Nobody can beat you.
It's like that. It's like
People
that,
come from like Japan, wherever. They're coming from all over Russia in this thing. They like have a few people coming from around the world to try to beat this fucker. And he's in his 40s.
Could you imagine coming all the way from Russia and losing?
Yeah.
It happened. That guy lost.
It
Yeah.
really happened.
Yeah.
yeah, it sounded a lot like that movie where the guy.
Oh, he was like disgraced. He's like training all fucking, his town. It's weird in Russia. If you're an athlete and you like participate in athletics for Russia, you fucking get paid by the government. Like they pay you because you're a fucking athlete. And I think at the end of that documentary, they said that he went on and was like, he was on the Russian Olympic team for something totally unrelated. Obviously it wasn't, but it was like, pushing the bobsled. It was something really weird.
They basically paid for his flight here to come fight him and to come arm wrestle him.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably the documentary paid for it, maybe.
Yeah.
Well,
that's less
couple
of a hit
grand
to him. But,
yeah.
No, it reminded me of that documentary they did about the guy who was trying to beat the Donkey Kong or whatever score.
I've heard of that.
And he actually did it, and they denied that it happened, and they actually kept the other guy as the champion. And it's a great movie. I don't remember what it's called anymore. I just happen to think of that now.
Yeah, man. Mark Ellis told me to watch that.
It's a really fucking good movie, man.
He knows.
He's a movie guy.
He's a movie guy.
That's right, Schmoes Knows podcast. Schmoes Knows is really a good fucking podcast.
Oh yeah, man.
Him and Makuga kick ass. But that's gonna conclude our Nerd Rager for the day. Ari Manis, thank you for letting us have you in your studio, buddy.
Anytime, guys.
You can find Ari Manis at Ari Manis on Twitter and on every other thing.
That's right. Yeah.
Anything new going on, buddy? You want to tell everybody?
Not really, man. Just stand up talk and living the dream.
Hooters, right? Go to Hooters on Hollywood
Hooters,
Boulevard on Thursdays.
Ice House. Find me anywhere.
That's right. Ice House on Wednesdays. Lovitz Tuesdays, Ice House Wednesdays, Hooters on Thursdays. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Pete, you want to go ahead and tell everybody where they can find you?
Yeah, I'm Pete, PDC, P-E-T-E-E-C, and you can find me everywhere at that name. Even YouTube, like maybe poker sites or something. Look for me.
There you go. There you have it. Matt Edgar?
My name's Matt Edgar. I have a Twitter. It's at Matt Edgar, and there's one T in Matt that throws everyone off. That's just the way I was born. You could see me. I do comedy every single night.
At the Comedy Store?
Comedy Store is a big one for me. You could find me tripping my balls off in the middle of the desert this Sunday for Shroom Fest.
There you have it.
If we happen to run into each other, we'll connect.
There you go.
I'm going to look for you there.
Shroom Fest. We're going to find Matt tripping. Thank you, everybody. I'm out. You can find me, Eric Oligny, on Twitter, Nerd Rager. We're out. Peace.